Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I love this sign. You can have results or you can have excuses, not both. Essentially pick a pony. Which one do you want? You want to get something done or you want to bitch about not being able to get anything done? Or your reasons for not being able to get anything done? For your viewing pleasure, what's coming up is a person who's working extraordinarily hard to do both. He wants to walk and run on the moon at the exact same time. Now, the argument that the person is going to make, and this is talking about Keith Ellison. Keith Ellison is making an argument and is trying to explain why you need to give blue dog Democrats, or Dinos, Democrats in name only, why you need to give them a pass or not supporting single-payer health care. He even adds Nancy Pelosi to this, saying, you guys might have heard that Nancy Pelosi is not for single-payer. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. She's for it. She just can't say that she's for it. Deep down here, she believes it. Take a look at this. We'll talk about it after. This is Keith Ellison explaining why you should give conservative Democrats, or just regular Democrats, a pass on not supporting single-payer health care. I found this argument to be amazing. Let's take a look. I'm sorry, apparently that was the wrong one. Here it is.
If we had a willing partner to fix the individual market, I believe, and I'm signed on to HR 676, which is a single payer health care act. We call it Medicare for all. Yeah, universal health care, real single payer health care. I'm on that, but and let me tell you this: is anybody taping me right now? Okay, so you may have heard that Nancy's not for it. That's not really true. Nancy has to represent a very diverse caucus, and she's not like getting out ahead of the caucus too fast. So she's trying to get, she actually likes the concept. So she's trying to get, she actually likes the concept. She says that it's the best way to do it. She says it's the cheapest way to do it. But she's got to make sure that she brings our blue dog friends along. And by the way, for any of us progressives who get mad at the blue dogs, if we didn't have them, some of them will be replaced by Republicans. So
I hope you heard what he said. I hope you heard what he said. He's trying to make an excuse for blue dog Democrats, trying to explain to people who consider themselves on the left. That's the lead sheepdog. That's Keith Ellison. Explaining to lefties, saying, look, you need to support blue dog Democrats because if they don't support those guys, they get replaced by Republicans. You don't want that, do you? That means you have to support the guy who's not going to represent your interests. Here's the thing. Giving your support without conditions is not the way to get anything done. Meaning, it's as if he's making this argument that he wants you to give your support to somebody like Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin would never sign on to single-payer health care. Also, I don't necessarily care what Nancy Pelosi believes at 3 in the morning. I care about what she actually does. She is in a political sphere. She is in a political sphere. This is not, if she thinks people should get ponies. This is pretty straightforward. She is in a political sphere. Is she advocating for a particular policy or not? I don't care what she believes. I care what she advocates for. What is she actually pushing? In this case, she's not pushing single-payer health care. Why should I care what she believes? If she's not pushing it, why do I care what she believes? Why do I care? This totally makes up my original point, man. If you want to get anything done, it's going to have to come from the left. And the fact is, you have two parties that are in no way on the left. You have two parties that are on the left. The party that's supposed to have this kind of philosophical responsibility of dealing with issues like healthcare and education have completely abdicated that responsibility. So you have lead sheepdog who's trying to talk to progressives, or talk to lefties, That's Ellison's point. That's the whole point, that they put Ellison out there for this. And it's trying to convince them that, look, you need to support conservative Democrats. You got to support them, because otherwise you're going to get a Republican. That's his basic argument. I don't think I'm not explaining his argument well. I think that's his basic argument. Lefties, progressives need to support Republicans, because if you don't, you're going to get a Republican. I would say, what's the point of getting a Democrat if you're not going to get that Democrat to represent your interests? What's the point? Medicare for all should be a litmus test. It should be a litmus test. There should be no Democrat that's voted in office if that Democrat is not willing to toe that line. You have the majority of the population who either want single-payer health care, universal health care, or that the government to control this particular market. When the last Democratic president was in office, with the House, the Senate, and the presidency, supermajority in the Senate no less, they passed the right-wing health care bill that was essentially Romney care, or that came out of the Hedge plan. I'm trying to make this point that, do you believe that you're going to get the things that you want enacted onto the world by giving your undying support, regardless of the situation that takes place? Meaning, are you going to give your support regardless, whether the person toes your interests or not? And it sounds like that's Ellison's argument, that you should give your support regardless. It should be undying, uncritical. You should just give your support away, otherwise a Republican might get in office. I think it's the opposite. I think ultimately the fact that the Republican could get into office is the stick. And that's the thing that you use in order to try to get your point across of either you toe a particular line or you lose. My best interest, the best interest of most of the people in this country, is to have single-payer health care. Not just for individuals, but also for businesses. And understand what I mean by this. From a business standpoint, if the United States is competing on the world market, and all of these other companies from all of these places elsewhere, let's say for example in Europe, those countries provide health care for the people of that country. The business itself is not saddled with all of this additional revenue that it needs to come up with in order to pay for people's health care. Not to mention, if that person leaves the company, that person no longer now has health care or have to pay out of pocket some insane amount of money in order to get a COBRA. This is untenable at best. And Keith Ellison is now on stage asking if he's being recorded. Am I being recorded? Anybody recording me? Yes, you're being recorded. You're being recorded. Yes, somebody's recording you at this moment. And I hate this argument. I hate this argument. At the end of the day, and this is not going to be long, because I've done this video once. If you want something done, if you honestly, actually want something done, and you don't just want to have this kind of status quo in perpetuity, ignoring sheepdogs like Keith Ellison is the way for you to get there. It's not that I'm saying it's great, but you have nothing else pressuring the political apparatus for you to affect any sort of change in this world. If you want single-payer healthcare, do you honestly believe that continuously voting for people who don't want single-payer healthcare is going to somehow magically get you single-payer healthcare? Your stick, your brick, the rock that you have to throw, it's not another party. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would prefer there be another party. I want there to be a party that vociferously reflects the will of workers and the overwhelming majority of the population. But we don't necessarily have that right now, meaning there's nothing putting pressure on the political apparatus to get the party itself to change. If you don't have anything pushing on the party apparatus to get the party itself to change, then the party has no impetus whatsoever to change. The reason that Joe Manchin went on to TYT, the reason Donna Brazile went on to TYT, the reason why she went on to Tim Black, they did that because they're trying to make inroads on the left. The reason why Keith Ellison was the lead sheepdog to put that crafted position that they created for him under Tom Perez, because they want a sheepdog. They literally want him to go on out there and fish people back into the party itself. They understood how many people left that party. And right now, the lead sheepdog is out here trying to explain to people why it is necessary to support somebody who in no way support the things that you yourself believe in and you yourself believe should be affected in law. Keith Ellison, ladies and gentlemen. Lead sheepdog for the DNC. I will leave it at that. I'll put a link to it at the bottom. Alright guys, if you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, you can always support through Patreon. Thanks everyone.